excited about this week's podcast because I think it's going to be eye-opening to a lot of you. I was noticing lately that I let a lot of things slide as I'm not being as diligent to plan my meals, so suddenly evenings are chaos. And I've been going over budget because I'm buying meat even though I already have meat in the freezer, or I'm buying takeout just because I didn't plan very well. I'm also not exercising like I want to. I'm walking plenty thanks to my dog, but I'm trying to build a little bit of muscle. And I have this 15-minute workout routine for, like strength training, but I'm not even getting that done most days. I'm trying to do it like 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm getting it like 2. Even worse, I feel like I'm busy all day long, but I'm not seeing any kind of meaningful changes with projects around the house. Things are just still left undone. And I look at it, it's been another week. Every Sunday when I go to church, it's like that's kind of my marker that a week has passed. And I look around, I'm like, what did I do? And if that's happening to you or someone you know, the next few minutes might give you some insight into why this is happening and what to do about it so you can feel calmer inside and enjoy the people and things in your life more. So if you think a friend would get something out of this, please send them to my website, thebalancedlife.com, and tell them to click on this podcast. I'm going to read you a little story that I created. We're going to look at a day in the life of a fictitious woman named Sarah. I think a lot of us will be able to relate. She gets up and goes about her morning routine, breakfast, pets, kids, appointments on her calendar, tasks to be done. It looks simple. Thankfully, today is a lighter day than usual, so she should be done in time to spare, and she starts to feel really positive about this. She digs into her day full of hope, but by noon she realizes she is not as far as she should be. I'm using air quotes, should be at this point. Worse still, she has a lunch appointment, so she can't even eat at her desk to try to make up time. Then after that appointment, she has to run her kids somewhere, and so she won't even be back to her office until between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now she's looking at staying late, and she's starting to move a few of the tasks to tomorrow, which is already overcommitted. She rushes through the day. The appointment didn't go well at lunchtime, and she's in a hurry to get her kids to where they need to be. They're being slow, trying to get out the door, so she snaps, "Hurry up!" and immediately feels guilty about that. She gets back to her desk at 2:37, and she is thrilled that it wasn't as late as she thought. But then an email comes in asking her where something is, one of her colleagues. She has told them repeatedly where to find this thing, but she takes the time to answer them because it's faster to do it now. And then she gets up to make a cup of coffee because she is so tired and she is starting to get a headache. At 2:50, she sits back down and manages to scratch a few things off her list. And at 4:30, moves 2 of her tasks to the day after tomorrow because tomorrow is already so full. She remembers that she promised her best friend that she would call at 5:30. So instead of staying late like she thought she would do to make things up, she stays into the office only until 5:30, and she talks to her friend on the drive home, feeling even more defeated. When she walks in the back door at 6 o'clock, she hangs up and suddenly realizes she has no idea what she is making for dinner. She groans and goes to her bedroom to change, picking up a stack of mail on the way. She walks into her bedroom, sits down on the side of her bed, and looks at the mail. 3 things are there. An auto insurance renewal. Rates went up. How much this time? A local landscape company ad. Ugh, the lawn is a mess, and I think the flower bed could more accurately be called a weed bed at this point. And a pizza coupon. Great. Pizza it is. She runs down to tell the kids about the pizza. She is now their hero. The praise feels good. She orders the usual from the pizza place, then goes back upstairs to finally change and put on something comfortable. She tosses her clothes in an overflowing hamper. She is too tired to exercise tonight. Tonight, she will just rest, and she will get up 30 minutes early to exercise tomorrow before work. When the pizza arrives, everyone eats quickly. She talks to the kids a bit, the spouse a bit, looks around the house and sees the projects that she wants to do next weekend, also wanted to do last weekend. Maybe she should read. She's kind of stressed, but she is way too tired. She'll just fall asleep if she tries to read a book at this point. So she sits on the couch and watches whatever else everyone else is watching until the bedtime routine and off to bed. As she lies in bed that night, she thinks about how busy tomorrow will be. She thinks about everything left undone. She thinks about the heartburn from the pizza and how that won't help her health goals at all. She sleeps fitfully, and I can completely relate to poor Sarah. See, even for many of us who love our life, the day that I have described here in this story is very recognizable. So many days we see our day drop into a pit of commitments. Do you understand? Can you relate? We have incomplete tasks, unhealthy habits. I was just telling you about mine at the beginning of this. It's something that I'm getting better at, but I'm still struggling with it on a fairly regular basis, which that leads to dissatisfaction in life, even if I have what others see as a good life, which I do. I have a great marriage. My kids are grown. I'm an empty nester. I have a dog. But that's very much what my life was up until a couple of years ago with the kids and all the running and things. And it still is with the other commitments I have. And it can make me feel even worse because when I grumble about it, I feel like I'm being ungrateful. And it's not that I'm ungrateful. I'm just tired. I'm confused. I'm frustrated. I don't know why I see no results in my life. It's because I'm not doing what works. So let me tell you what has led to less chaotic days on the days that I'm good about doing this. I am trying to be more consistent because on my good days, and sometimes when I do this for weeks and even months in a row, this is what is making my life so much calmer and more peaceful and fun. I minimize decision fatigue, and I use the acronym CHAOS, CHAOS. And here's how I do it. It's really quick and easy. Number one, decision fatigue is real and it really drains you. Every single decision chips away at your mental energy until you basically have nothing left. And that's what we saw with Sarah when she came home and had to think about dinner. However, if you group decisions, you will find you have more energy overall. Here's how to do it. Again, this is really easy. On the weekend, plan the meals for the week. Write your grocery list from that. Look around at what you need. And if you use a service like Instacart, which is what I do, I actually have a link to it on my website, thebalancedlife.com. You can see it there. I schedule to have my groceries delivered partway through the week. So I order them at the beginning and then again partway. I schedule based on my recipes, how often I run out of certain things, that kind of thing. Because you get a discount for scheduling days out. And you can add to the list if you remember something later on. And then you save yourself a trip. You know when it's coming. That's part of your schedule, your plan. You know you're going to have the ingredients for the meals that you plan to have. The second thing I do is I cook extra dinner. And I use the leftovers for lunch the next day. My husband uses the leftovers for his lunch the next day. He really doesn't pack like sandwiches and things like that. He just packs leftovers. So we have to put everything away anyway, and it's just as easy to put it away into our little lunch containers as it is, to put it in a Gladware container or Tupperware or whatever. Our kids used to do this as well. I don't know if they still do it as adults, but when they lived at home, they did. Then schedule one day each week. I typically make this Thursday where there are no new projects scheduled at work. Or like if you have to do like sales calls or appointments, schedule fewer calls and make that a makeup day, a paperwork day, a catch-up day, whatever, to get all those little things that seem to build up like a snowball during the week. In your personal life, I have one day off where everyone makes leftovers, feeds themselves, or something like that I can put in the crock pot in the morning, and I can do all those little nagging side tasks. Then, first thing each day, have 90 minutes of uninterrupted time with the do not disturb on your phone. Use this for the high focus tasks. I talked about this on a blog on thebalancedlife.com. You can go read the blog where I kind of lay out this 90-minute thing if you need to see it, like if you're a more visual person. That's how I write. Okay, this is what I do just for my websites. I have weekly videos, weekly podcasts, weekly blogs, monthly newsletters, monthly products, and a book about every 2 months. Although if you listen to my other podcast, you know that I'm kind of evaluating the book part. I do this myself for 2 different websites, and I'll be launching a 3rd website in a few months. So that much content for each one. I do this in 90-minute chunks 5 or 6 days a week, often doing as many as a month's worth of blogs at a time. I spend 15 minutes per day reading either an audiobook or a regular book, and I only watch TV in the evening when my husband is home, when we're just quietly sitting on the couch unwinding for the day. And I always try to make it something funny and lighthearted. If I want to watch something more intense, like I love documentaries, I typically will do that on a Saturday. I'm doing all my decisions at once this way, and then I just execute as part of my routine. My 90-minute chunk on Saturday is used for the meal planning and the grocery planning and ordering the groceries, and then grouping up all my tasks and errands for the week. So I'm making all those just little micro decisions that I make all week, I'm making them all at one time on Saturday. So then as I just go through my day, it's kind of like when you were in high school, you followed your daily schedule, you knew which class you went to, you didn't think, which class should I go to? Which class should I take? No, you just went to each class each day. That's what I'm doing with my schedule. I just go and I do my thing. Then I know exactly what I have to do that week, and it's way quicker. And I have that 90 minutes of productivity in the morning and then just jump into the next things. Now, let me discuss chaos. So I got this from a lady called Fly Lady. You can find her online if you'd like to. And chaos is an acronym she created for Can't Have Anyone Over Syndrome. It's where things are always all over the place and you feel like your life is totally chaotic. She has an entire binder system, which I love, but and you can look at that if you want to, but I'm not trying to overwhelm you. The big thing, the most long-term thing from her that I have used now for probably 15 or 16 years has been the 15-minute timer. I decide what room or part of the house or task I will do, and I go at it for 15 minutes with a timer set. Whether I'm going to go through a pile of mail, I'm going to pick up services that gather clutter, I'm going to dust a room, I'm just putting things away, I'm starting laundry or whatever it is. I move as quickly as I can from room to room. Sometimes I get my heartbeats up high enough that it counts as exercise on my Fitbit. So that's a double bonus. But when my beeper beeps, I am done. I know this seems like really small things and you may be tempted to turn off what I'm saying, but listen. The menu planning and grocery ordering will take about 60 to 90 minutes. You do it on Saturday or whichever day of the week you're going to do it. I'm only spending 90 minutes each day first thing attacking my major projects. I'm reading 15 minutes, which doesn't even really feel like much. I have the chaos timer for 15 minutes a day. And if you have kids, like when my kids were at home, we called it the fling boogie because that's what she calls it, a 15-minute fling boogie. And we would just go through. And it was amazing how much stuff we could get done, dealt with, attacked in 15 minutes because we kind of made it a race. But I have found as I see these small completed tasks, I am less excited about the dopamine hit or hormone hit or whatever it is that you get when you play those mindless games on your phone. And I am more motivated to read things or listen to things that are positive and encouraging and inspiring and future focused. And reading gives me ideas, encouragement, and insight. And suddenly I see my satisfaction building. This gives me confidence. The little stumbles suddenly are in perspective and I'm sleeping better. I am much more positive and confident. And remember your morning vitamins. Man, I started doing that and it's helping me sleep too. I know it seems kind of crazy that such small things can bring so much balance, but I am telling you that it is making dozens and dozens of unnecessary constant decisions each day, the interruptions, the need to get that happy hit of brain chemicals with your cell phone game that turns into an hour and a half that you lost and don't know where it went, your texting, your social media bounce, that's what's draining you. It's not the work. Instead, when we start to take more control over our day and make a few positive changes, fewer decisions, more things finished for us, we have a cascade of positive that helps us to accomplish even more. That results in more focus, more mental rewards, and more satisfaction overall. We will all have days and weeks like Sarah's stressful scenario at the beginning of this podcast. And with some effort, we can also start to have more of the positive weeks that I just described. It takes so little effort. It just takes some practice. Part of finding balance in life is that teeter-tottering back and forth until you find an equilibrium that works for you. On the tough days, focus on keeping your mindset in perspective. Remind yourself that this is just one day or 1 week or one season of life. Things will calm down as you start to make better choices. On the good days, Soak in what it feels like and remind yourself that this is your life too. It's not always that bad. It's also these good positive days. You have a good one, and find reasons to be grateful for the life that you get to live, no matter what the individual circumstances are. Finally, never expect perfection. We are all going to fail sometimes. Just try to fail forward. I'll see you next time.